All right, well, welcome everybody to today's webinar, Creating a Complete B2B Experience Beyond the Cart. My name is Bill Dunn. I'm the president of Dunn Solutions. And today we're going to go through, I hope, an interesting webinar talking about some of the challenges that B2B manufacturers and sellers have in going into e-commerce and digital transformation. I'm joined today by Jeff Handa from Liferay. And Jeff, if you want to say hello.
Bill, very happy to be here and talk to you today about B2B Commerce and Liferay.
All right, thanks very much, Jeff. So Jeff and I will be doing a little bit of a tag team. I'll be presenting some of the content, and then Jeff will be demonstrating how one of our business partners, Liferay, how their software can help with this entire enablement process. So a little bit of show and tell today. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about DunnSolutions. We're a digital commerce and business transformation consultancy. So we work with our customers to help them get velocity. And if you remember your high school physics, velocity is more than just speed, it's speed and direction. And we help with speed by automating the business processes, which a lot of that is with digital transformation. And we help with direction by providing analytics, helping companies understand more about where things are going and how they should be moving forward based not only on what happened in the past, but projections of what could happen in the future. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the virtuous cycle of customer engagement and how that's really important in all aspects of digitizing your customer relationship and in fact in B2B commerce. And there's a few different pieces that all have to kind of work together. There's the marketing automation piece, there's the digital experience platform piece, and then there's the analytics piece, which feeds all the data back into marketing automation. And if this is all done properly, what you end up is a nice virtuous cycle where customers keep coming back to you over and over again. Today's focus is primarily on the digital experience platform, and we'll be talking a little bit about what we feel is required to be successful with a digital experience platform in the B2B commerce world. So let's talk a little bit about B2B commerce. There is a misconception out there that that B2C e-commerce is really the big boy in the room, but the truth is there's actually more business being done in B2B on e-commerce than on B2C, and in fact it's still a massively growing space. So anybody that is not seriously thinking about using e-commerce in their B2B environment potentially could be missing out on a lot, because the expectations are for customers that e-commerce is sort of a checkbox. It's something you have to have for a variety of reasons, and we're going to talk about those reasons in the next few slides. So the big one is the evolution of the B2B buyer and how that journey continues to change. You know, in the past, a lot of buyers on the B2B side were typically handled through one-to-one interactions or salesperson interactions, but that B2B buyer is actually changing, and their expectations of working with you is very similar to the expectations they have when working in their B2C experience. So if they're having a great experience at home with Best Buy or Amazon, when they come to work, they don't forget about that and then want to go back to the old way of doing things. They really want that same type of experience in both their personal life as well as their business life. And the reason is that it's become very convenient for them to do business this way, and they would like to be able to have that convenience at work as well as in their personal life. So there is a shift in thinking, in that B2B sellers traditionally worked with direct sales teams and direct conversations and emails, and this is the way that that they traditionally have sold. But there is a change now in that we do have to leverage another channel, and that is the e-commerce channel, and that can be complementary to the sales efforts. That does not need to be a channel that competes with sales, direct sales. It's actually a very complementary channel. So if you can do it properly, you really turn your e-commerce site into another 24/7 salesperson. So Another thing that we hear of a lot is that, on the B2C side, it's all about customer experience and the way how easy it is to use, etc. But in B2B, it's not really that important. But the truth is much different. The customer experience matters as much or even more so in the B2B world as it does in the B2C world. And statistics have shown that B2B customers will actually spend more money with partners and vendors that give them a better customer experience. And part of it is about everybody is very busy and everybody is overworked. And a better experience isn't just cute graphics or icons. A better experience means that the e-commerce site helps them do their job. So it helps them get to the place they need to be, helps them find the things they need to find, and lets them accomplish what they need to accomplish in a quicker manner. So that's all part of customer experience. And if your B2B site can offer that level of customer experience, you're actually creating a moat around your offerings. People will not want to go somewhere else because they like what they're getting from your B2B site. So customer experience really important in B2B. So the next thing we hear of a lot is when we're thinking about it, and maybe I've convinced you that you need to do B2B e-commerce. The number one thing that customers think when they think that is, let's focus on the shopping experience, and that's always about the catalog and the cart. And the catalog and the cart are, of course, the parts where you make money, right? They're the ones that you might think are the most important because that's where you take the order. But the customer experience in the B2B side is very similar in the B2C side. There's a customer journey, and that journey goes all the way from attract through engagement, conversion, and then retaining people post-sale. And so the catalog and the cart, is only a part of that journey and only fulfills a part of that journey. So to kind of understand more about the rest of the journey, we have to ask some questions. What are the things that drive revenue, that make your experience better? And personalization is always at the top of the list. So what personalization means is that we're helping the buyer find and get what they need even before they're ready to shop. Part of that personalization is the information we're providing to them when they're looking for products. And in doing that in the attract phase, it's about understanding who the buyer is when they come to your site, and then leading them through this process where they can discover more about your products and eventually get to a place where they're going to buy their products. But you can see the B2B buyers are very, very keen on personalization for one other reason as well, in my experience. It helps them get where they need to go faster. It helps them find what they need faster and helps them take care of what they need to do faster, because that experience is now personalized to them versus something that's just generic. And so they do appreciate that. The other thing that is different in B2B versus in B2C is that in B2B, the buying process is typically not just a single person. There's usually a team that's involved, especially in large purchases. So when you're in that attract phase and you're trying to get people to look at your products and consider your products, one of the other ways that you can do that is using the concept of microsites. So a microsite is not a full website with everything, but it's very customer focused and it's very solution focused. And that microsite is something that can be shared within your customer base to kind of drive information. So instead of handing out that brochure or that paper leave behind or a PDF, you can actually share a link to a microsite. And these microsites can be then integrated into your entire customer experience. So this is another area that we see people branching into from just traditional websites. So it's beyond a landing page, not a full website. It's more very solution oriented. And so that's also important to consider in the attract phase. So in order to be able to give this microsites the full engagement throughout the process, you not only need the catalog and cart, but you need a robust content management system to be able to collect the content, display it, personalize it, and share it with your customer base. And that applies both in attract all the way to retain. So that's another key component you need to kind of look for in your full solution. The other part that people tend to forget about is the post-sale activity. So even after a sale is finished, customers still come back and they want more information, they need help, they need to look at product information that's online. And rather than waiting for that to happen through making a phone call or doing a text message or an email, they can use an e-commerce digital solution for that. And that's the post-sale part of the journey. So that's where we can do discussion boards, where we can do service tickets, customer chat, and that's also where we can integrate with some of the back-end systems within our that we want to expose to our customers. So in doing something like that and creating, again, a digital experience post-sale, we're creating an opportunity for more loyalty as we go through that entire sales cycle. So in order to do that, typically what we're looking for is some sort of a customer or vendor portal, which will allow us to interact with our customers even the post-sale. So as you can see, there's different components that are required to give the full complete solution to that e-commerce environment. And each one of those components helps across different parts of the customer journey. So all those components together, we kind of view that as the digital experience platform, a DXP. So we think a DXP should encompass all of these different components. And when you implement this, you're able to cover the entire customer journey from beginning to end. So if you look at that customer journey, there's all sorts of bullet points across where you interact with a customer. Your DXP solution should really be allow you to handle all these different touch points all within hopefully a single platform. And that will give you the ability to fully enable and digitize in the customer journey. So which DXP? Well, one of our partners is here, Jeff from Liferay. He's going to tell you a little bit about Liferay and then why that should be a high consideration for you for that DXP platform. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Bill. And just want to confirm you can hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, if you have not heard of Liferay before, I'll give you a quick little synopsis. We are a global company and have expanded quite a bit since we were founded in 2004. We currently have over 1,000 employees and hundreds of partners. We have over 24 offices in 19 countries and thousands of community members using our enterprise subscription products as well as open source products. We have a community marketplace with over 600 marketplace apps, and all of this growth has been achieved with no outside investment. You know, it's a great thing for us because we can do what's right for our customers and not have to worry about pleasing some investors or somebody who's looking for a quick return. Liferay is in it for the long haul. I've been with Liferay since 2008, so I've seen a lot of that growth, and still remains really an industry leader in that DXP space. Now, unlike a lot of vendors, we've really started by focusing on B2B problems first. You hear that a lot, B2B platform, we keep saying B2B, and we think it's important to call that out because the needs in the B2B space are different. One of the things that I think sets B2B apart is that complexity, and that complexity at any scale. We're dealing with typically complex buying processes and selling processes. We're dealing with teams, as Bill mentioned, purchasing teams. We need to get approvals. Unlike a B2C purchase where maybe you need to get your approval from your spouse. When we're dealing with B2B, we need to get approvals from multiple departments, sometimes technical stakeholders as well as commercial stakeholders. And so the Liferay solution is built with all of that native. You don't have to rely on plugins or third-party apps. Now, this allows you to launch your solution faster. Because like I said, you're not looking for a third-party app to solve one of these basic B2B challenges. You have a native solution. It's in the product. It's a matter of configuring it and not coding it or integrating it. although we are B2B first, we have always been focused on delivering a B2C type experience. We feel like if you can do B2B and you can provide a B2C type experience for that, well, then you can also solve B2C challenges. And so we have quite a few customers that use us for B2C only, or in some cases, they'll have multiple channels. They have a B2B and a B2C channel. Now, we like to make sure that even our B2B buyers get that B2C type of experience. And we give you the tools to do that very easily in terms of managing content, collaboration, and documents. And we'll see that a little bit later. We're going to give you a quick demo. Now, of course, behind the scenes, all of this, making everything happen, is our open APIs, and that's going to make integration much easier. And we have quite a few tools for managing all of this because, again, there are going to be a lot of products, a lot of content. You want to make sure that all of those things are being properly reviewed. And we give you the workflow tools to make that easy to configure, as well as to make those workflows easy for your stakeholders to participate in, to review content, to approve content, or if necessary, to revise content, send it back, and have somebody else work on it. We go to the next slide, Bill. Now, as we talked about, as Bill mentioned earlier, it's important that you're supporting that entire customer journey. Content is just as important, if not more important, than the shopping cart or the checkout process. And one of the strengths that you get with Liferate is a single platform. A single platform, not just in what you purchase from us, but architecturally a single platform. It's been developed by the same engineers going through the same software review process. And so one of the things that your IT stakeholders are going to love about Liferay is that consistency. So it is one platform truly. We have not been purchasing and plugging in different solutions. We have built everything natively, and everything works natively. And so that means as you are managing your customer experiences, you're able to mix and match those traditional CMS or content type features with the commerce focused features. You're also able to do that much quicker because, again, there's less integration that is required. Less integration means lower costs and lower complexity and easier to maintain and support platform going forward. If we go to the next slide. Now, our heritage is in the portal space, and definitely that plays a big part in providing features for customer portals, after sales portals. So we have the content features, we have the commerce features, but we also have all of the tools and frameworks that you're going to need to create that portal type of experience. Because once you've made the purchase, your existing customers are going to have a lot of different things that they're going to want to interact with you for. They're going to want to see their invoices, their orders, their shipment information. We can pull all of that information from any platform that you have on the back end. Of course, Liferate provides some of those capabilities as well, but in many cases, we're going to be talking to an ERP system and surfacing that information for your customers. Now, along with that type of information, we're also going to need to provide knowledge bases, forums, ways for customers, technical customers, to get answers to their technical problems. We're also going to provide you with access to ticketing systems so that customers can get help when needed and raise tickets to your support systems. And of course, on top of all of that, we don't want to just support the initial sale. We want to help you grow your revenue by promoting new sales. And one of the ways that we do that is with our machine learning capabilities. We have the ability to make forecasts to help customers understand when are they going to need to make another purchase, as well as making product recommendations, really meaningful product recommendations based on what you've looked at, product recommendations based on what you've purchased and what other customers like you have purchased in the past. Go to the next slide. I think we're ready to jump into the demo.
I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter. Jeff, you are now the presenter.
Okay, and can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Well, I'm going to try to give you a really quick demonstration of how Liferay can help you solve some of those challenges that are very common in that B2B space. and building out B2B customer journeys. Now, this is a lot to show in a very short time. I actually was just giving a demo to a customer the other day, and we only had 60 minutes. And it was challenging to get everything into 60 minutes. Today, I'm going to try to do it in closer to 10 minutes. So we're just going to really scratch the surface. But I want to kind of look at a couple of different aspects of that B2B journey. We're going to take a look at the unauthenticated experience and what Liferay can do for you there. We're also going to take a look at what it looks like for authenticated users, existing customers that are logging in. And I want to show you just a really brief glimpse into what it looks like for somebody that works for the seller, and what it would look like for them to kind of use some of these tools together, using content and commerce capabilities and blending them. We're going to start by taking a look at a fictional company that we'll use for this demo called Liferay. Liferay is a global manufacturer and distributor of robotic manufacturing systems, and they currently sell their products and services through a variety of different channels, including distributors as well as direct to their manufacturing clients. Now, the systems that Liferay sells are very complex, and they require a very involved sales process, a process that would be hard to completely replicate with an online commerce experience. However, a solution like Liferay can definitely help to enhance that current process and give your sales team tools, as well as playing a really huge role in that after-sales experience for customers. Okay. Now, we'll take a look at what it would be for somebody who's unauthenticated coming to the portal for the first time. And as Bill said, during this phase of a customer journey, we're really trying to attract and engage customers and potential customers. Now, Liferay's CMS and personalization capabilities play a big role at this point in educating customers, informing them about the types of products and services that you're offering. And in addition to just showing them this content, we also want to make sure that we are personalizing the content for those customers. Now, in this simple example, we're going to look at a simple way of doing that by clicking on a link and visiting a page talking about becoming a partner or becoming a distributor. Liferay's actually noticed that, and it's put me into a segment of potential distributors. Now, once I've been put into that segment, when I revisit the home page, the system knows that, and it's actually changed the experience. It's personalized that experience to me to hopefully engage with me as a potential distributor. It gives me a personalized message. It gives me a personalized call to action, and hopefully that personalization will help me to drive that conversion to becoming a distributor. Now, another way to engage with site visitors is to collect information from them in a more direct manner. And to help with this, Liferay provides some very powerful and robust form capabilities. Now, the nice thing about these forms is that even though they are quite powerful and robust, they're very easy to configure. This is an example of a form that a business user, a marketing user could easily create without any involvement from IT. We have all the basic form building blocks that you would expect, but we can also tap into external systems to pull in information, things like this dropdown. This dropdown could be populated from an external API. So you can build a very complex form experience. Now, these forms are useful for getting information about registration, getting information about products, maybe requesting a quote or requesting some additional information. But just a real quick, simple example of what that might look like. Now, the nice thing about this form is that once the data is captured, we provide a workflow engine that can be used to automate any business process that you might want to run within Liferay, as well as with integrating into external processes. For this example, perhaps we need to talk to an external system to validate addresses, to run a credit check on this customer before we onboard them. Any of that's possible. And then we can also easily pass that information along to downstream systems. For example, in this case, if we are truly onboarding somebody, we would pass that information along to a CRM. Now let's turn our attention for a second back to the experience of an existing customer. In this scenario, I'm going to be logging in as a customer named Mike. Go back here for a second. Yeah, I'm going to log back in as Mike. And Mike is a technical buyer. He works for one of our customers called Baccaro Fabricators, and they have several of our Liferay solutions in use within their facility. Now, as a technical buyer, when Mike logs in, he loves visiting Liferay because this is one of the few vendor portals that gives him that personalized experience. It knows that he's interested in technical topics, and so it gives him access to his currently installed robots. It gives him access to order information if he needs it. It gives him access to news and information that might be relevant, as well as product recommendations based on what he has purchased in the past and what he's likely to purchase going forward. Now, when Mike comes here, he can get a lot of information about what he's already purchased, but he can also dig down into technical types of information through our knowledge base or through our forums. He can also browse our product catalogs or spare parts. In this case, Mike is specifically coming here to look for some information about his current robots. And he's got one that's reporting an error code, so he's coming in to take a look at this TS2-40 robot. Now from here, we can actually blend information that's coming from a variety of systems. In this case, we're imagining some information coming from some IoT sensors that are actually in the installed robots. From there, they can provide information about the health, can provide information about what's going on with the systems, can also recommend types of spare parts, accessories, or consumables that maybe need to be purchased. Now, this is a really unique feature of Liferay, this ability to very seamlessly integrate content from a variety of sources, both native to Liferay as well as external third-party applications, along with things like commerce, product recommendations, and commerce features. In this case, we're going to go ahead and add a couple of items to the cart, just to show you what that process looks like. And he actually needs more than just one of those. This is a product he uses a lot of, so he can adjust those numbers. He can also review the order. Now, one of the nice things is that Liferay provides all of these native features built in, and one of those is the workflow. Because Mike is part of a buying team, he can't complete this checkout all on his own. He actually needs to send this through this purchasing department. So what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and submit this order, and what that does is that it sends a notification to his colleague, and that's actually the next persona we're going to look at. So I'm going to sign out as Mike, and I'm going to log in as Beth. Now, Beth is the procurement manager. She works with Mike, but unlike Mike, she's not interested in the technical details. She's really more interested in the business relationship that she has with Picarro Fabricators. She wants to make sure that she is getting everything that she's ordered, that she's getting the prices that she has contracted for and the discounts that she's entitled to. She also wants to be notified whenever somebody on the technical buying team needs to make a purchase. And so in this case, we can see that Mike has sent a commerce order for review. Now, she can log in and take a look and see which of those orders. The nice thing about this being a B2B system, it's very possible to have multiple orders going at one time, possibly from different buying teams. In this case, there's only the one order. She can review this order, review the pricing on it, make sure that this is the contract pricing. Liferay can easily present different prices to different customers depending on what's been negotiated. Now, those price lists can be maintained inside of Liferay, or they could easily be integrated with your back office ERP system. If everything looks good to her, she can approve the order. And now that that's been approved, she's able to actually complete the checkout process. Now, the checkout process is highly configurable. We can make this look however you'd like it. We can collect whatever additional information you might want. In this case, we've pulled in the shipping address from the ERP system. We're going to use the same shipping and billing address, so I can go to that next step. And because this is an existing relationship in a B2B portal, we really don't need to collect the payment right now. We're able to bill this customer later. Now, in different scenarios, we may have a variety of different accounts, some accounts that have to pay cash, and some accounts that are allowed to buy on credit. Again, being a B2B first solution, that's a very common scenario and one that can be handled entirely out of the box. So we'll go through this and finish out the checkout process, and that's going to kind of finish out our look at what Beth does. The last persona that we want to take a look at is Nick. So I'm going to sign in as Nick. Now, Nick works for Liferay Botics. We're taking a look now at kind of that seller side of things, and so obviously when Nick logs in, we're going to get a different look and feel for Nick. Nick is actually kind of an amalgamation. He's playing a couple of different roles here. He's a catalog or e-commerce manager as well as a category manager. But really his primary focus in the system is to make sure that our catalog of products and services is performing to that fullest potential. So when he logs in, again, same URL, same dashboard, this one is personalized though for him so that he can see what are the top selling products, the bottom selling products, what types of categories are performing well, and what channels are performing. He also sees a list of different tasks, notifications, and in this case, products to be reviewed, because those workflows aren't just for orders. Workflows can be used on any asset that's in the system. And in this case, he's been assigned a task to create a product launch page for one of the new products that they're launching. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that product launch page looks like. And we can see that it's a very boring page right now. We have a product detail. It's going to show all of the details of a specific product. And then we have some products, but these aren't even related products. And so this landing page or this product page could definitely benefit from a little bit of attention. So Mike is going to be able to change the mode right now into edit mode, and he's going to be able to choose from a very large palette of different fragments and widgets to build that experience. And the nice thing is that, again, he can do this by himself with very minimal training. He's not a JavaScript or HTML developer. He doesn't need to be. He's not a member of the IT team. He doesn't need to be. He's able to just click and drag and move these widgets and fragments around and create a different type of experience. So one of the things we want to do is we want to be able to cross-sell product accessories. So to do that, we're going to use a commerce widget called a product publisher. And we'll put that over here. And we can see right off the bat that it's showing a lot of different products. We don't want all of those products. We actually want just cross-sell products, or actually what we're going to use is accessories in this case. We're going to be selling accessories. Now, along with that, we also want to make sure that the way that we render those is correct. And he has a variety of tools to choose from. And again, these are things that were created for him. He doesn't have to create them. He can choose different types of renderers. He can also use display templates. Display templates are using a technology called FreeMarker. Again, as a category manager, he doesn't need to understand the technology. He just needs to know what tools are available to him. And he knows he has a spare part cross-sell template that he can use. So let's put that into place. And that's going to actually show up. Once we have a product displayed, it's going to show the accessory products next to it. We also want to change this down here. Right now, this is also a product publisher, but the products that it's showing are just featured products, and we could do better than that. We can actually look at our upsell product relationship. So we want to upsell, when you're looking at this particular robot, what are some other robots that perhaps give us a little bit more revenue? And then the last thing that we want to do is we actually want to work with some content that comes from our CMS system. So from our CMS system, we had some marketing people that created a content set for us, or a collection of content. And I'm just going to put that down at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to select from the different content sets, and they've created some product launch content using our content management system. And so we can see what that looks like right here. And I want to display that using cards. So I can grab a card, I can drag that onto the page. I can change my view. I want to look at maybe 3 columns of cards across the page. And what I want to do is I want to map this to that content that, again, somebody else created for me. So in this case, I'm going to map this image into a field on that piece of web content. So show me the image that's associated with that, or show me the title that's associated with it. Show me the description that comes with that content. And then I can also make some changes kind of here on the fly. Instead of go somewhere, let's say we want to learn more. Okay. Now this is just kind of scratching the surface. The content management system has a lot of additional features. Normally, I'd probably put some captions in here to provide additional information about what these are, upsell, cross-sells, etc. But let's go and take a look at what this actually looks like now that we've enhanced this product landing page. And we can see that we have our, I need to adjust the grid view there. But we can see that we have our product our cross-sells. We can see we have our product descriptions. We have more meaningful products here. These are our upsells. And of course, finally, we have that CMS content that's kind of mixed in with our product content. So a lot to cover in a very short amount of time, but this is a topic that I would love to go into in more detail with you. If you have any questions, follow up and get an opportunity for us to maybe dive even deeper into a demo. Bill, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Make me the presenter again. All right. One second here. So thanks very much, Jeff. I appreciate that overview, and you can see that Liferay can, in one DXP platform, handle a lot of the things that are required to have a complete digital experience. So some things to think about as you're taking away some points from today's discussion. Number one, B2B customers are valuing the complete buying experience when choosing, a vendor. So it's not just about purely shopping, but it's also what happens before and after the shopping that's important. So when you're creating your digital experience, you need to be able to think about a toolkit that lets you extend before and after the shopping experience itself. If you can use a DXP platform that has integrated features for B2B, content management, and portal in a single type of solution, we believe that gives you a lot of strength and removes a lot of the requirement for doing custom integration work and going from one solution to the other, if you can find a way to do it all within a single complete solution. And then finally, this is really the time to take action. We've seen that during COVID and even post-COVID, there is a change in the way that buyers are interacting with each other, and there's even less of that person-to-person type sales effort. So if we want to keep retaining our customers and we want to keep interacting with them digitally is one strategy for continuing to create a relationship and to help our customers get where they want to go and help them do their jobs. And of course, that's part of why we're here, to assist our customers to be successful. So that's the end of the formal part of the presentation. If anybody has any questions, I would encourage you to put them into the chat. We just have a couple minutes that we could answer some questions, and I've asked AJ from Liferay to sort of read out any questions that from any people that have pre-sent in or are in the chat. So AJ, is there any questions in the chat for us?
Yeah, Bill, I got a couple here for you. And again, if you guys haven't had a chance to post your questions, you could do so by locating the GoToWebinar control panel on the right side of your screen, and you'll find a questions tab with a little drop-down bar. You can be able to type in your questions there. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question I've got is, we've got multiple back-end solutions. How can you integrate with a variety of back-end office systems?
So I'll start first and maybe turn it over to Jeff for maybe if he wants to add anything from a technical side. But one of the nice things about Liferay is the fact that it's got connectivity to really almost any back end. So as long as that back end has an API or a way to access, we can build a beautiful custom front end to that back end. So the question you might want to ask is why would you do that? And the answer is that sometimes you want to give people access to some parts of your systems, but you don't really want to give them access to the whole system. So I think a good way to do that is to create like a little mini page or a mini portlet or something that you can put on the page that allows a person to interact with some part of the system without giving them access to everything. And the nice thing as well, as you can see from the demo, is that in Liferay we can combine transactions on the same page with other interactions. So if we wanted to do a buy now transaction, but also have another transaction to check shipping status, if we felt like it was a good idea, we could put both of those on the same page. Jeff, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as Bill said, it's a great point because we are technology agnostic. We're not locked into one CRM or ERP. We're working with a customer right now through a complicated history of acquisitions and spin-offs. They have multiple ERPs. And so we're able to take all of that different data from those disparate systems, put it into a single orders interface, an orders interface that's already been built. Again, accelerating your time to launch and reducing your costs. We're able to pull in all of those different orders and present them to the customer, the end customer, in a single interface. You know, prior to that, they had to kind of keep in mind, like, which division am I working with, because each division had a different interface to go to. And now it doesn't matter. They go to one place. And so I think that's, you know, that's the strength of a good, solid B2B customer portal experience, is that it makes you easier to do business with. Nobody has to know about your complicated legacy history and systems. They can get that single interface, and suddenly you become a vendor of choice for them.
EJ, are there any other questions? Well,
Yep, I got another one right here for you. Our company is doing an acquisition. Do you have a way to integrate a company through acquisition into our current systems?
well, I think this is a good follow-up to the previous question. I mean, basically, during an acquisition, you cannot turn off all the previous systems. So if you have 2 companies or 3 companies that are coming together for a period of time, you're going to need to have a way for people to access all those systems. We actually do have a customer right now that's finishing up an acquisition of another large entity. And again, Liferay, I think, presents a really good solution there, because you have a single sign-on, a single portal that you can come into, but behind the scenes, we can attach to and even show information from those different systems. We have a customer that has 13 different back-end systems, and we were able to create a single sign-on login where they log into the front end, which is built in Liferay, but behind the scenes, we're actually interacting with a lot of systems. So that plays in well with if you're doing M&A activities, as well as if you're just building things for your customer base using your systems.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, with the Liferay Commerce solution, you know, we do support multiple catalogs, multiple channels. You know, so it's really ultimately up to you after that, you know, after that merger, how seamless do you want that experience to be? Or, you know, in some cases you may be acquiring companies, but you want to help, you know, maintain their brand. Their brand has you know, certain meaning, and you want that brand loyalty. So you can still manage multiple brands with a single Liferay solution. Liferay's got a concept of sites and multi-tenancy, and so we can provide a single Liferay solution that's serving up multiple brands on the front end. So really, it's ultimately up to you, and I think that's where implementation, you know, our partners like DunnSolutions can provide a lot of thought leadership on how do we approach this and what's the right way to transition from you know, 2 separate companies into that single entity, and what are the right tools to use during that transition.
Right.
All right, and I've got one last question for you guys, and I think it's pretty good question given all the information that we received today. But where do I start?
I think the first thing to do is to understand something that's not technical. Understand your customer journey, and understand which parts of the interactions with your customers would benefit from going digital. And then you can set some priorities and start developing your solution around those high value, high ROI type initiatives. But as you continue to move further and get more sophisticated, start extending that digitization across all elements of your customer interaction. So there's no need to do a big bang theory and do everything at once. I think it's best to find the best high ROI component that's causing the most pain and solve that component first, and then kind of move on from there. One example is we have a customer that has 80% of its support phone calls are coming in from small customers that have low dollar volumes, but it's taking up 80% of the sales team's time. Well, moving that to a digital platform doesn't fully eliminate that, but does cut about 70% of that traffic, and then frees up those people to do other things. So taking a look at how digitization can help your customer, how it can help you internally, and then starting there and keeping it in its scope small enough that we can get it done in a reasonable time frame and then expand. I think that would be my strategy. All right. Well, AJ, thank you very much. Jeff, I want to thank you as well for doing the demo and showing us the capabilities of Liferay. As a follow-up, if you are interested in starting on this process and maybe having a further conversation, feel free to email us at DunnSolutions.com, info@DunnSolutions.com. We also have a white paper we put together, which may have some interesting thoughts around B2B commerce and how it can impact all parts of the company. So I would encourage you to download the white paper from the URL that's listed here on the page. And again, I appreciate you spending time with us today for our webinar. I hope you found it informational, and look forward to speaking to you again on the next one. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a good day. Take care.